several research papers in journals and national international conference. To his credit, he has chaired technical sessions of various conferences, including international one. He has been the nodal officer for implementation of MHRD-sponsored NKN project and some other projects worth rupees 1 crore for providing 1 Gbps connectivity in the campus. He has also completed one UGC-sponsored and another CG cost-sponsored research project. Now I would like Professor Sanjay Kumar sir to enlighten us with his knowledge.
Very good morning once again. I think mic is not important here in this. Not again in this session, and I start my presentation with this small quote, which is taken from the book of Briggs. That meaning is that whatever supercomputer was present in earlier days, 10-20 years back, is nowadays a normal ordinary computer. And the supercomputer of today will become an ordinary computer after 10-20 years. So I will give my presentation on parallel computing. As we are discussing in the opening session also, that computer communication both are complementary, electronics, computer science, engineering both are complementary. Without electronics, computer science cannot survive. In fact, computer science is just an application of electronics only. But equally, electronics, for electronics people also, computer science is very, very important. In fact, the subjects like computer network, computer architecture, these are all the backbone subjects of electronics as well as computer science. So, why I have taken this topic of parallel computing, that I will tell you shortly. So, first of all, why we need high-speed computing? High-speed computing. You can interrupt me anywhere and ask me the question. So, suppose in order to design a supersonic aircraft, we are taking one example which will give you the importance of parallel or supercomputer. So, in order to, suppose we have to design a supersonic aircraft which involves a lot of partial differential equations to be solved. Okay, and there are around 10 raised to 13 floating point operations. Floating point operations take slightly more time as compared to fixed point operations. So, if we assume that 1 microsecond is taken for performing one floating point operation, 1 microsecond, then what will be the time to solve 10 raised to 13 number of floating point operations? 10 raised to 13 into 1 into 10 raised to minus 6. That means 1 microsecond divided by 3600, that means second, we are converting second to this hour, and 24 hours. So it will take 115 days to solve 10 raised to 13 floating point operations. But suppose we are able to reduce this time from 1 microsecond to 10 nanosecond, then how much time it will take? It will take only 10 raised to 13 into 10 into 10 raised to minus 9 divided by 3624, it will come down to 27 hours only from 115 days. So, large computations like this can be solved only, can be done only with this supercomputer or parallel computer, which is also called. And a supercomputer like Cray, XMP, etc. can attain such a high speed because electronic devices have a certain limit. Signals cannot travel beyond the speed of light. But still we want to speed up further. Then what is the solution? Only solution is to parallelize the world. Suppose a person has a definite capacity, another person might have some more capacity, but even then human being has some limited capacity only. If we want to perform more work, we will have to increase the number of persons. Similarly, we will have to increase the number of processors, that is called parallel computing. This example, I think this is very good example, and I have taken it from CSI Communication, which is a very good magazine, and October 2003. In fact, top 500 supercomputers in world are listed on in every 6 months, and that can be obtained from this site. In the month of November and June, 2 times in a year, this top 500.org. This site will give you the top 500 supercomputers of the world twice a year. So, according to current situation, these are the top 5 supercomputers. Sunway, Taigu Lite, which can perform 93 petaflops per second on LINPACK benchmark. I will tell you what is LINPACK. Then second one is this Tiane, then Titan, etc. In India, Sahasra at ISC Bangalore is the fastest supercomputer, but very recently, 2-3 days back, in the Delhi newspaper, one news had come that now this is not its fastest supercomputer, rather another supercomputer has come in Indian Meteorological Department, Pune, which is the fastest one. Anyway, Aditya, then third one is at TIFR, HPC at Delhi, and Param Yuva 2, which is developed by CDEC. And that means in order to popularize this supercomputer among the people, CDEC has brought down the price of supercomputer, and Param Yuva 2 is only of 16 crore rupees, which is far less as far as this supercomputer is concerned. I was telling that LINPACK benchmark. What is LINPACK benchmark? Benchmark. Suppose we have to measure the performance of a computer, any computer. The way in which it is very difficult to say that which person is good and is not good. There may be a number of parameters depending upon which you can classify a person. Similarly, computer also. It is not easy to classify or tell that this computer is better. Normally, generally, we take gigahertz speed. Because gigahertz speed is more, then computer is supposed to be better and faster. But even then, it is also possible that computer with larger gigahertz speed, clock speed, is giving less millions of instructions per second. Less millions of instructions per second. This clock speed, which is measured in terms of gigahertz, is one of the primary measures of measuring the performance of a computer, but this is also not sufficient. Then one more term is there, that is called MIPS, millions of instructions per second. So how many number of instructions are performed in 1 second? But even then, this is also not sufficient to measure the performance of a computer. That is why certain benchmarks have been developed to measure or assess the performance of computers. And LINPACK benchmark is one of those benchmarks that is given in the book of Kaiwan. So this is, I was telling that why I have taken up this parallel computing topic. Parallel computing is very, very important in today's scenario, and India should not lag behind in the world respect, in the world scenario, and that is why Government of India has initiated a new project worth 4,500 crore rupees, which is the largest in science and that means education side, and a supercomputer mission is formed. Supercomputer mission is formed, and this was the cutting taken from the local Delhi newspaper Navbharat only. That means these types of news are daily are usually coming in the newspapers also, and you might be coming across of this news. Let us see that how this parallelism can be achieved. And parallelism can be achieved even in a uniprocessor machine. Whether it is important that only when more than one processor is there, then only parallelism can be achieved. But no, even a single processor, within a single processor also parallelism can be achieved with the technique what is called pipelining. And pipelining, you might have heard in microprocessor, in Pentium also there is pipelining, 20-stage pipelining. Although Intel does not reveal exact nomenclature and details of that pipelining, but still pipelining does exist. So pipelining means whatever work is being done, that is divided into various stages. For example, counseling through which admission is done. So reporting is one phase, then seat allotment, merit formation. So suppose, or even in the, conference also, somebody is sitting on registration counter. One person is coming, he is entering his name and details. Then he is going to another desk, he is taking the kit, receiving the kit. Then he is going forward. So this is also a two-stage pipelining, example of two-stage pipelining. That means when one work is ahead, then another new work comes in the previous stage. Best example is, if we tell in Hindi, रोटी बनाना. एक आदमी अगर रोटी बेल रहा है, दूसरा रोटी सेक रहा है, फिर नई रोटी वो बेलने लग गया और पुरानी रोटी सेक रही है. इस तरह से this is also an example of pipelining. So pipelining is a very common feature in our day-to-day life. So the same feature is employed here also. An instruction, suppose in a computer, even a small instruction is to be performed, like 2 plus 2. Then also there are 5 stages: load, decode, fetch, execute, and write. These 5 stages are there. And these 5 stages, that means this is shown here: load, decode, fetch, execute, and write. Suppose this 2 plus 2 is to be executed, then load means this is instruction plus sign, that will be loaded. Then it will be decoded, that means identifying the resource. There are various units, adder, subtractor, etc. So which unit will perform that operation? Then fetch means fetching the operand. Then execute means performing the operation, and then write means writing the result back into RAM. So these are the basic 5 operations. Now suppose there is no pipeline, and we assume that one operation takes 1 clock cycle. Then what will happen? For performing 5 operations within an instruction, 5 clock cycles will be needed. Okay? Load, decode, fetch, execute, write. And then for executing 3 instructions, it will take 15 cycles. 15 cycles. Right? And therefore there is one term, I will come on this. And suppose there is a pipelining, then what will happen? Load, decode, fetch, execute, write. With pipelining scalar architecture, load, decode, fetch, execute, and write. And then new instruction comes in load phase: load, decode, fetch, execute, write. Then third instruction is coming: load, decode, fetch, execute, write. Now you can see that in 7 cycles only 3 instructions are executed. Okay, clear? Earlier, for executing 3 instructions without pipelining, it was needing how many cycles? 15 cycles. Now it is needing only 7 cycles. So there is a term which is called speed up. How many times it is faster? So that means speed up is 15 by 7. That means number of cycles without pipelining divided by with pipelining. So 15 by 7 is the speed up. Similarly, we can find out CPI IPC also, that CPI is nothing but, that means without pipelining there are 3 instructions and 3 instructions are taking 15 cycles. So one instruction will take how much cycle? 15 by 3, that is 5 cycles. 5 cycles. So this is called CPI, cycles per instruction, जो जबकि जमाना करते हैं. और उल्टा जबकि अगर जमा लिया जाए तो we can say that 15 instructions are executed in 3 cycles. Then one instruction will be executed in 3 upon 15, that is 1 upon 5 cycles, and this is called IPC, instructions per cycle. 15 instructions are executed in 3 cycles. So one instruction will be executed in 3 upon 15, that means 1 upon 5 cycles. So here also we can find that CPI, IPC, etc. are calculated, and then throughput. Throughput is also, suppose there is a 100 megahertz processor. 100 megahertz processor means 100 into 10 raised to 6 cycles per second. So suppose 3 cycles are taken, in without pipelining cases, suppose 15 cycles are taken for executing 3 instructions. Then for executing for 1 cycle, it will be 3 upon 15, and for 100 megahertz processor, 100 into 10 raised to 6, that is 3 upon 5 into 100 into 10 raised to 6, and that is called throughput or MIPS, millions of instructions per second. So in this way we can find that without pipelining it was only 20 MIPS, but with pipelining it is 42.855 MIPS. So significantly throughput is increased. Although this is uniprocessor only, one processor, without increasing number of processor, we are increasing the speed and throughput, and the speed up is 15 by 7, and CPI, IPC are also given, and then is this is super scalar architecture, in which there are 3 parallel pipelines, and you can see that load, decode, fetch, execute are, that means 3 instructions are simultaneously loaded in 3 different load units, and then decode, fetch, execute, write, then again pipeline. This is called super scalar architecture, and again the same thing can be applied, and CPI, IPC, throughput, speed up, etc. can be calculated. You can see that throughput is now 128. Earlier it was only 20 MIPS, and now it is 128.55 MIPS. The speed up is 45 by 7. And example of this computer is RISC 6000 processor. Here example is RISC computer. One more phenomena is type of pipeline is what is called under pipeline. Under pipeline means why the need of this under pipelining? Suppose, as I had given example, registration counter and conference taking. Suppose one stage is slower because of some reason, या रोटी वाला एग्जाम्पल, एक बेल रहा है एक सेक रहा है, अगर एक कोई स्लो है, then what will happen? Then that is called the, then because of one stage, another stage will also have to wait, otherwise wrong result may come, and therefore this under pipelining is done, in which safety factor is taken. That means instead of waiting for 1 cycle, we wait for 2 cycles, and therefore here what is happening, that load, decode 1 cycle, 2 cycles. That means after 2 cycles, next instruction is loading, and then here under pipelining And similar in the same way CPI, IPC, etc. are found. Example is CISC processor. So in this under pipelining, slightly decrease in performance will be obtained, but there will be no collision, no chance of collision or dependency or any erroneous result. So under pipeline is also there. Then one is super pipeline. Super pipeline means even if one stage has not finished its work, another work starts coming into that stage, entering into that stage. Just like our railway platform in which one train is going and another train is coming on same platform. Similarly here also one stage, although it has not finished completely, but new instruction starts coming here, load, and therefore again increased performance will increase, and here we can see that